What on earth is going on with Tesla? And is there any good in this chart that we can find? Is there some more bad? And when do things get really ugly? So those are the things that we're going to be really looking at, really. So not immediately obvious, but let's start with the good. So we do have a series of, so this is a high, but this is a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, lower. It's a downtrend, right? And then we've got here a low, a lower low, a lower low, a lower low. That is a downtrend, without question. The price has been going down since 2021, November. This, though, this level here is one of the first decent attempts at creating a higher low than this low. And this is a higher high, and this is a higher high. And this is a, again, this is what this was positive at the time before we broke it, but this was another attempt at creating a higher low. So this was a mini uptrend that was looking really good, but then we broke trend and now we're back down. Now, the really good thing is, and there aren't too many positives in this chart, but the one positive is that we haven't actually, as yet, broken this first attempt at a trend change, which is creating a series of higher lows. So here, the minute we kind of like break this and close below this, that is, you know, this mini trend change that we're trying to establish here, that's we're just gone back down to the kind of the prevailing trend of just down. And in terms of chart patterns, this then becomes a triangle, and we could, you know, the bears could be getting baited into taking shorts in order to generate some momentum to push up, right? Because everybody will look at this as a chart pattern which is negative, a descending triangle. Okay, so that's potentially the one good thing there, which is that we're holding this first decent attempt at creating an uptrend. The bad is right here, right? Which is that unless we hold this, we're going much lower. Now, the options activity is suggesting that there is some attempt to create a base, some sort of level of support at 167.5. And price did actually, on Friday, close the week out, last week out, at that level of support. And 170 is an area where price is trying to pull towards. So there's some effort to create, let's just double check that, 170. There's some effort to create some support around this very level, and that's because traders are looking left and seeing it was support before. But it's a must-hold area support, right? So support, downtrend, test, we're testing it again. Testing the same level too many times is not good. So let's just do a fib check. And if we do a swing from here to here, so pivot low, pivot high, swing, we can see we've got too many lines now. So let's just get rid of this 170, 167. And we can see really that this level here, 127, was a target that got hit, and then the bears pushed through that. So they've effectively negated this 127 as even existing now, and this now is the next logical target, 149, 150. The issue about 150 is it's below this level of support, which breaks trend. But in terms of algos and fibs, this is really the next target. No question. This is, bears are in control. They're aiming for this. This was a big push down through this level, and now we're bouncing off the 141, which is like an intermediary that I put on my charts between the levels, because price does often bounce here, and it did. But it doesn't negate the fact that the target actually, the measured target for this algo pivot is 150. Now, the issue with that is it opens the door to the psychological level of 100. And so really the levels of interest, the psychological levels of interest for us on a macro basis are between 200 and the 100. We're kind of in the upper range now, which is good. But the minute we start hitting this 150, if we do, then you open the door to 100. No question, right? So for me, that is a short signal. But it's not without, being a bear here is not without risk, right? And the reason for that is seasonality. Now, March has been historically one of the weaker seasonal periods for Tesla. There are others, September, October, but right now where we are, this is the weaker month in this kind of like period between the new year, January, and the middle of the year. And from here, we kind of start to see, once we get into April, we start to see prices get a little bit more support, and then we turn into a really positive month for Tesla, where the odds of it finishing higher than it started increase, and you get much more sustained trends onto the upside. So what does that potentially mean for us as traders and market trend analysts? For me, it suggests that we could see a flush down to the 140, and then from there could be some attempts at a bounce, and that's where this test of resistance, well, it's currently support, but this is where the test of this as resistance really comes into focus. So we could see the bulls really using kind of a baiting strategy of letting people get overly bearish, and then using that negativity to put people offside, and then attempt to get back to the 200. Okay, let's have a look at our algos to see if that supports our thesis. So this is now our weekly. So this is our algo, range algo on a weekly time frame, and it has really signaled that we did lose the mid-range here, tested it. We've now lost another level here, and range lows at 100. Really, look at that. The algo has selected the 100 area as an area of interest now. So yeah, I mean, for where we are, this is the level that the algo is looking at as a strong area of resistance, and this is the area that needs to get flipped in order to test the 200. Let's have a look at some other algos and price action in terms of volume. I mean, this is not bad volume signature for Tesla. This is relatively positive, so not all bad, and we do have a level of support here. So even if we do dip into some support, and then the bottom of the resistance range is the 200. So really, this is our range of interest, which is the lines that we have defined, and the algos are confirming them. We've got a first little look here, a potential uptrend forming. So not all bad, but certainly for the next couple of weeks, going to be watching for prices to dip lower, and then seeing if we can find some scalp entries to try and capture a trend reversal, a mini trend reversal. That is not without risk, because prices could dip down to 100. So going to be looking at price action on the lower time frames for the next couple of weeks to see if we can capture some small moves of 2 or 3% here and there, and keep an eye on the options activity as well to see if our thesis on a potential one last flush and then a push up is supported by some of the options action. Okay, let's keep up with Tesla. There could be some interesting trading opportunities coming up over the next couple of weeks, but extending up into July. Okay,